For this assignment, I would like for you to start working on your index page in your GitHub account. So far, you may have a hello world message or something like that. We'll be working on it throughout the semester, making it a little bit better, adding pages, putting in things that we work on, projects that are coming up. In the meantime, though, let's make it so that it's not just hello world and that you actually have a little bit of code. Now, for this class, I expect you to know everything about HTML or nothing about HTML or even somewhere in between. You're comfortable with it, but you're still learning. So I mentioned at some point in this particular lesson that there's design patterns, and basically what that means is that there is code out there that you can go and use and put it into your projects, and it works just fine. So my page, like I said, right now only has a hello world, and I want to make this a little bit better, obviously. I'm going to go get some code from somewhere. I'm going to edit this file, though. I'm in my index page already. I'll click on edit this file, and I see that my code really says nothing. It says hello world, this is going to be fun, etc. The thing is that my page, the one, if I go and visit at itse1401.github.io, that shows me that message, GitHub actually will be translating some things for us. If I go and I'm right-clicking and tell it to view the page source, it tells me that that's all it's got. This is a representation of what my file looks like when I'm editing it. It's numbered 1 through 4. And it has all just hello world and it's going to be fun, but the web doesn't work this way. This is like we're in 1992, except there's a little bit of color, and that color is gray. So we close this and come back here at this. I'm going to select all of this and delete it. I have a blank page, so my index.html will have new code. I can get new code from lots of places. My favorite place, and you'll hear me talk about this extensively during this class, is w3schools.com. It goes right into HTML. We'll be looking about at Bootstrap, CSS, HTML later. We'll do some graphic work, and we'll do some sound, a little bit of JavaScript. I mean, there's 16 weeks to go. So I'm going to click on Learn HTML, which, by the way, you can learn HTML. You can do the whole thing, do all the lessons. This is a great resource. At the end, you can even get a certificate from them. I don't know how much it costs. I know that it's not free to get the certificate. It's free to get all the education, though. So I'll give you direct pointers later in the class, but for now, I know that if I'm on HTML, the tutorial, I can go to the basic, and it gives me some basic examples and documents. So this is the code that's already written. I will tell you later what all this means. I'll give you reference points at least, so that you're not totally lost, as many people are at the very beginning of their coding careers. But just know that this is here for you to use. So you saw me highlight this example. This basically declares the document type that we have. It's an HTML page, and then it tells it there's going to be some HTML code coming across as opposed to the text that I had before. There's going to be a body to this whole page, and there's a header 1, then there's a paragraph, and then there's the body ends. You see that slash body, that's where it ends, and slash HTML, that's where it ends. We will be using pen code as well. If you're inside W3 Schools, though, they have their tool is very similar to pen code. If you go to try it yourself, you'll see that the code is on the left, and it shows you what the page would look like on the right. What we're adding to the GitHub is going to be the code on the side, and hopefully once we publish it, it's going to look like it looks on the right. So I'll close this sample and look at the example again. I'm going to highlight this text, and I'm going to right click and tell it to copy. I'm working on a Mac. Yours might look a little bit different, but not so different. So I'll copy that, and I'll go back into my GitHub page where I have the editing, editor rather. And when I right click and tell it to paste, I can also use, or actually that I will probably have to use Control V or Command V depending on what computer you're using. And everything that I just copied will come right in. I'm making this a little bit larger so it's a little bit easier to read. I went to 160%. So I have the doc type here. There's a couple of extra spaces that I don't want. The HTML is there. H1, my first heading, my first paragraph. So basically this is the beginning of my page. In my first heading, I'm going to type in, I can put in my name or I can put in the name of the class. I'll leave that up to you, but I'm going to put here the name of the class. This is ITSE 1401, and then I can put in something else. Hello world again. Yes, you can be as creative as you want, or whatever you want to put there. That's appropriate for class. Hello world. My name is Francisco Rodriguez. Now, like I said, I don't expect you to know all the code. Just know that I put in everything within the H1 code, and then the paragraph is going to be within these two paragraphs. Everything that's here will remain here. If I wanted to add another paragraph, rather than typing in the code, etc., I'll just copy this and then paste it right after, and then I have code for a second paragraph if I wanted to, hello world, etc., and then I can change this to these are my projects for web design tools, colon. Now, just like you can in Word or word processing software, I can put in a bullet list. I can type in the bullet list here, or I can go get some code from the same page, HTML basic. I see that I have heading, paragraph, links, images, buttons, and lists. There's two kinds of lists. There's an unordered list, which means this will be a bullet list. There's no order to it. It just goes from top to bottom. And then there's an ordered list. This means that this is going to be numbered. Know that there's a declaration of what kind of list it is, an unordered list or an ordered list, plus the list items. You'll see the little li tags. We'll have lots of tags. There's hundreds of tags probably out there. We'll be using a dozen at least. There may be a whole bunch of information in the introduction to this assignment that tells you what's out there to learn. We will not be covering everything in this class. There's just way too much. So I want an unordered list. I'm going to copy this example. Right click and copy. Go back to my editor. And after my declarations here, I'm going to paste. Right click and paste. And I have, after that paragraph, there's an ordered list, rather an unordered list, and then there's the list items. So we'll see. First we have, just for now, I'm going to say assignment 1, coffee, tea, milk. And this will be assignment 2, and then assignment 3. As we go along the class, we'll be replacing all these things and adding links so that you can tell me, click here to see my work. I'm done with this. These extra spaces don't harm anybody, but I'll just delete a couple of them and scroll down to the bottom. Hang on a second, stay on page, and let me try to zoom back in and tell it to commit pages. I've updated index.html, and I can say here that I have now added a design pattern to the page. Or I could have said nothing. I'll commit the changes. Unlike other platforms, GitHub is not particularly fast when it comes to updating. So if I go to the page to see it, it might not be ready for a few seconds. But in this case, it was actually ready. So ITSE 1401, hello world, my name is, these are my projects, assignment 1, 2, and 3 on a bulleted list. Now, all of this code that we typed in, I can right-click on my page and tell it to view the page source, and it shows it to me, and here's my document as it's going. This is the HTML code that's making it work, and I'll show you how to start to change all the headings and paragraphs, lists, etc. If you are an experienced web designer, then you know that the world is your oyster. Here you can do pretty much whatever you want. The only limitations, or the one true limitation that there might be with GitHub, is that you can't work with databases, but it will allow you to do all the HTML coding. I'll show you how to do CSS so that we can change colors, backgrounds, add images, and do pretty much just about everything with these pages.